Alright guys, hello and welcome back to the next episode of our F1M24 Career mode. And Valtteri's not really feeling too good right now. 18th place in the constructor standings. The team is sitting in 5th place ahead of Audi Sport. They're our main rivals pretty much this time around. And we've been fighting Haas and Cadillac as well. But this next episode we have Singapore, China, and Baku. Singapore Sprint, China, and then Baku Sprint. Which, let's see, which one are we going to be more than likely to deal with? Looks like rain in Singapore. Safety car chance 80%, China 100%, Singapore 75%. 100% chance in China. We'll go for it. We'll simulate it through Singapore, do China, and then simulate Baku for this episode. I believe we switched out all of our components at the end of the last episode. Yeah. I don't quite remember where we're at for progression. We have a front wing coming in, rear wing research coming in, and then the rear wing extra parts for the rear wing. Research, chassis research, suspension design, probably for that last race, and then we're making extra parts pretty much. We need to go back and look and see what we can upgrade, even though we don't have that much money right now. 2.2 mil, as we're at the end of August, so we're in the ladder of the season. That means 1, 2, 3, 3 episodes to go for the remainder of this season, as we're sitting at our goal right now, and we're still trying to decide what we want to do for next season. We're not going into our messages because of possible spoilers, and that'll be like that for the remainder of the season. So these next 3 episodes we're not going to be showing up. It's just a matter if it shows up in the upcoming events. So we're gonna go ahead and simulate through Singapore, and we'll see you guys for qualifying in China. All right, here we are for the results of the Singapore sprint race. Charles Leclerc getting top of the leaderboard. Oscar Piastri and Max Verstappen double podium for Ferrari. Verstappen with the fastest lap and the extra point. I believe he gets an extra point. I don't quite know. Vesti coming out in 8th place with that extra point for the team. And then Valtteri down to P20, loss of 2 positions. Not a great start to the weekend for him. It is a rainy weekend. And we'll see you guys for the results here shortly for the main event. Alright, here we are for the results of the feature race here in Singapore. Charles Leclerc, Sergio Perez, and Frederick Vesti. A very wet race weekend. Vesti getting on the podium for a good 15 points. Valtteri, P16, loss of 4, so he was up there in P12 or something like that. 2 laps down. Vesti sitting P9. Valtteri still sitting there in P18 with 2 points. We're still strong finish for the season, more than likely. Audi Sport falling back behind as they didn't score any points this weekend. We're sitting at 79 points, and we've got a long ways away from Aston Martin to get into 4th, so it might be a front of the field fight for next season. We'll have to wait and see, as we have our first podium of the season. Let's go ahead and jump on forward to qualifying for the next race.
Now it's time to see who'll come out on top as qualifying gets underway.
The Shanghai International Circuit is notoriously tough on tyres, so expect to see that factor into the team's strategies as they deal with this busy schedule.
And here's a driver there's been quite a focus on recently, Karun, Valtteri Bottas.
They weren't as quick as I expected them to be in practice. They'll want to land better lap times than that today to earn a solid position on the starting grid.
There's not much left to say, so let's get into it.
All right, so what I was trying to say, practice 1, we had Pato O'Ward and Tina Hausman doing our getting them some track time and getting the setups. Tina Hausman 100% by the end of practice 1 for the setup. Pato, 100% after the first run, like the first run for like getting the data and getting the setup with the F1 calculator. And we haven't driven this track yet on the calculator in this career save. We didn't use the setup. I used it for last year's game, but I haven't used it since until this season for the setups. So they were back down there 1920, 21, 22, because we're basically getting them that track acclimatization. That's why they're running 35 laps. And then it's basically the same thing here, 35 laps as we jump into qualifying. So I'm actually pretty confident with what they can do. Just hope it ends in a positive manner, gets them in the top 10 or at least top 15 for both of them. So take out our cooldown laps and start with that. So we have 4 sets of softs for them. Get to it.
Track is green.
A little bit overcast for our guys. Nobody is coming out yet. I don't know who's last in the order. I think it's Cadillac. I don't think they're... Yeah, it's all just overcast. There's no rain. We have Ferrari behind us.
Let's get those brakes.
All right, we'll probably hit some traffic on our run, but we'll have to wait and see here. We'll see you guys at the end of this run. All right, coming around the final few corners, Vesti gonna be the first to set a banker lap. Not really that much traffic here. 127, 28, 29, just over a 130, 130.5. Valtteri's gonna be coming up next. That Ferrari's gonna have a tow. He's probably gonna have a faster time. Yeah, Leclerc had a really good tow.
Make sure you stay negative on
And
your
Valtteri
right.
1.1 behind, 1.17 for
Take it easy on your
Sonoda.
right. Copy.
That's a decent time, but we'll see where we end up here. Since we don't have any new car parts, we're basically focusing on research at this point in the season for next season. So see you guys at the end of this qualifying session for the final run. All right, end of the session. Vesti coming through. A lot of traffic on their outlap. No improvement for Vesti. Sector 1 improvement for Valtteri. See if there's an overall improvement. And there is not. Currently P10 for Bottas. Coming around the final corner. No improvement. Sector 2. He's going to be solidified into P10. The drivers are going to get into Q2. Giovinazzi, Albon, Jimenez, Stroll, Frank, and Russell in the drop zone. Let's see what happens here. Jimenez coming across the line. Stroll moves up to P10. Piastri coming across the line. He was already done. Giovinazzi last person. Nope, he's coming in the pits. All right, there is the result for Q1. Van Dorn, Giovinazzi, Albon, Jimenez, Frank, and Russell. Joe making it into Q2 for the other Audi. All right. We'll jump right into Q2 here. And we'll see you guys at the end of this first run. All right, Vesti yet again to be setting the banker lap for this session. Not that much traffic. .4, so a little bit better than last session. Valtteri coming through with a 130.7 or 130.8
Charge on in box.
at that point.
Yeah, copy.
We'll see where we're at for time frame, which I feel like will be pretty close to the cutoff. But we'll see you guys here at the end of the session for the final run. All right, red flag at the end of the session.
Red flag.
It looks like a Haas off in sector 2. That's gonna be the end of Q2, so our drivers are saved. It's the Haas of one of those guys. I'm not sure which one, but that saves us a hassle. I'm glad we didn't put on new tires because we're into the top 10 against McLaren, Porsche, Ferrari, Aston Martin, and Red Bull. So 2 McLarens, 2 high-techs, 2 Red Bulls, 2 Ferraris, and then Porsche and Aston Martin filling in the gap. 4 teams in the top 10. We're gonna try to save a set of softs for the race, but I don't feel like we'll need to. But we're just gonna go with that. Yeah, we're gonna save a set of softs for the race because I know. Actually, yeah. Because there's only a medium and a hard locked, so we're gonna save a set of softs. Wait, did I finish? Did. Alright. Q3 for both of our drivers is looking up on the top side. I'm gonna send both of our guys out as soon as possible, but there is only 10 drivers.
Okay, let's concentrate on that warm up.
And we'll see you guys shortly for the end of this run. All right, Vesti coming around the corner. Sonoda pulled a yellow flag for a spin. See if its time's gonna be any better than the last 2 sessions. It's gonna be slower. 1:31.6.
Currently sat in P1.
Valtteri is gonna be the next across the line. Still holds on to that sector 3 purple sector. .130.6, so Vesti lost time.
And that's currently P1.
And we'll see you guys for the final run. See if we can get close to that front row.
Copy.
All right, sector 3, 2 personal bests for Vesti. We had a lot of traffic in that previous run, I believe is why. Sonoda is out of the session. No improvement for them. Vesti looking for the most here. No improvement for Bottas as of yet. 130.5. Up into P5. Bottas is looking to improve now. Next up is the Ferrari of Leclerc. No, Verstappen. Holding on to the lead right now. And he's going to hold on to that. Next up is going to be the McLaren of Piastri. No improvement there. The Aston Martin. Valtteri, no improvement. So P5, P7 for us as of right now. Leclerc. Open. Oh, okay. Ferrari's going to lock out the front row. Lando Norris. Maybe. Can we see an improvement there? No, he's going to go into the pits. All right, P6 and P8. I believe that's our best start so far. I could be wrong. I haven't looked at the starting grids in the simulations, but we are running a good starting position for this race. Let's just hope our strategy is the same and not making a mistake like we did back in Monaco. So let's get to it.
The 56 laps of the Shanghai International Circuit await our drivers here in China.
Shanghai has seen its fair share of clashes over the years, one of which happened even before the 2005 race had begun, when Michael Schumacher collided with Christian Albers on the way to the grid, sending Albers into the air.
Shanghai International Circuit is a complicated low-speed track that demands high downforce. The series of rapid turns from 1 to 4 demands high grip, but the more the drivers warm their tyres, the more degradation they'll have to deal with. The excitement is building, there's electricity in the air, but there's no surprise in that, it's race day. The anticipation is really building here. The fans in attendance are absolutely buzzing with excitement. Amidst the noise and fanfare of the occasion, a crucial moment now to concentrate.
They must be excited to start 6th, but it's a long race, so they need to keep a cool head.
But there's no more time left. We've got a race on our hands. It's almost time for the
Really nice
Chinese
action
Grand
shot
Prix.
there of the formation grid.
And it's lights out.
I'm gonna
and
be.
away we
Oh,
go.
that zoom was weird.
Watch those curves.
Iris curves. I did that again.
Keep the position. Okay.
Iris curves. We're gonna be pulling a 1-stop.
No curbs.
Yep. Come on.
It is on conserve, but we are pulling no curbs, so we have to balance it out. I tried to do medium soft with Valtteri, but he didn't make that tire life work out. So we'll have to push those hards. See what everybody else is on. Softs and mediums. Most likely 2 stops. We'll have to wait and see here. Piastri on 90 old softs. Looks like from qualifying. No moves as of yet. The 2 Ferraris really pushing up front. Vesti is dropping back because we did drop 4 or so laps of fuel. But we do have a high chance of a safety car. He's got rear-ended by Perez there.
DRS on
All right.
and that's currently P9.
Now we can try to make some moves here. Hold on with the tires now that they have temperature in them. Neutral defense, neutral defense.
Let's try to clear him as quick as we can.
Valtteri sitting by on Perez. Trying to make a move. Trying to make a move on the inside. Nothing quite yet. Ocon losing of his position to Vesti. Moving up with a P6 now.
Okay, mate, nicely done.
So let's take a look at the replay. Now we're watching the action closely here. There's the opening.
All right, easy move on the outside there.
And the overtake is made.
Fuel conserving should not be an issue. We'll just have to keep it on minimum for as long as possible. We won't touch that for now until we go into the positive. Valtteri's still looking to make a move here. Not quite there yet. Lawson had to do a pit lane start from practice 2, I believe, changing components that they weren't supposed to. All right, we'll drop ERS back to normal or neutral. And we're on lap
hold
3, so
currently
Bestie up into P5.
5.
Nice onboard view, helmet cam. Easy move into turn 1. Closing in on that McLaren as much as you can. Piastri, Norris, Leclerc, and Verstappen top 4 ahead of him. All right. We're gonna go ahead and sim forward since we're here on lap 3 and see what happens. Closest pit stop is going to be lap 22 for Valtteri. And right as I said that, virtual safety car Sonoda had an issue.
Now is that Yuki Tsunoda?
Lost the back end coming around the corner. No damage, hopefully. Nope, smashes into the back wall.
Idiot.
That is a virtual safety car.
And just like that, the hopes of the team start to dwindle.
Since we're on virtual safety car, we're gonna go ahead and conserve.
Bit of saving when we can. We could.
Sonoda out of this
So
race.
recharge on, please. Recharge on.
I don't
Okay,
want to
John.
necessarily increase the gap though. Let's get to this. That'll help us save fuel. All right, race is back on.
Push up.
We have some
Overtake
battery
is
to
available.
push.
DRS enabled.
All right, we'll sim forward and see what happens. We're at lap 12 and already so much has happened. Van Dorn had a spin. Menez having issues. Hamilton, Giovinazzi, Piastri with engine issues. And I looked at our tire life. Luckily I did. And we're pushing these tires a little bit too hard. So we dropped them down to
good,
aggressive.
Okay, copy.
Fuel is doing fine. Tire temps are in where they need to be. We'll wait a few more laps before we push battery, but we are running good right now. Both drivers in the points. It's just a matter of getting Bottas up a few positions. He's 2 seconds back behind Alonso. All right.
Update on tires when you can.
Still good.
All right, we'll see you guys near the pit stop for Valtteri. All right, pit window is open for Valtteri
Down in the
Bottas.
pit. Oh, that's a slow one.
More drivers with car issues. We're up in P4, P6, but pit stops have already started. Hopefully we can have... Oh, Alonso has a mechanical fault. Piastri mechanical fault. We've had to drop our tires down again. I'm not really feeling it with Vesti right now on those soft tires.
Look after these tyres.
He was doing good.
Let's make sure we look after these.
Those mediums will be able to make it. We'll leave those mediums alone. And we'll push battery.
Overtake button available.
Okay, copy.
We don't want to jeopardize Vesti though. He's up there in P4
Overtake available.
right now.
Copy.
That's provisional 1, 2, P6 for Vesti with pit stops.
What do you think about the tires?
All right, we're getting close. We'll see you guys for the pit stop.
Struggle with the traction.
All right, change of plan. Vesti's tire life will not make it to lap 20 or so. What we had it on. So we're having him come in at the end of this lap. I still have that on, so I don't know what's going on here. He's probably getting a lot of dirty air, but he's still 8 seconds behind Leclerc.
Leclerc in front. Gap in front is 8 seconds.
Bottas is still good
Norris the car behind.
to make it to that next lap on those mediums.
behind
We might
0.5.
stretch it one more. You know what, we'll stretch it one more, depending on what his tire life is like. Actually, Valtteri.
He has DRS.
Let's see here. Times. Forty, 39, 40, 41, 41. He's still running average time, so I'll jump into the next lap. I'll jump him to the next lap.
Copy.
Thought I ignored that. What? Okay, that was weird. No issues for Vesti. 2.1. Putting Valtteri in the next lap.
Currently P13.
He is losing a bit of time on Perez.
Shows the car in front. Gap 0.2.
We'll run him like
Gap
that
1.8
for
behind.
now.
35
See how
laps
he
to go.
does. We'll give him a few laps.
Let's focus on warm-up.
Looks like people may be going in for 2 stops. But we'll have to wait and see. We have 1 stop game here. Alright, we'll see you guys in a second for Valtteri's pit stop. Alright, Valtteri's coming around. Ocon ahead in the pits. Leclerc still staying out. Russell's the only one who hasn't pit yet. Betsy trying to make an overtake on Zhou.
Just keep your head in the game. What's happening?
Sorry for that.
Delayed pit stop for driver.
Track will be clear.
What was it? He's trying to take the tire off, that's what it was. I knew we were going to come into this weekend with some mistakes.
What was that?
It's part of the training. They were really, their amount of,
So currently P16.
what is it, their exhaustion or something like that? Alright, first set of pit stops, not so great. Everybody's pit. Ugh. Bottas back in P16, Vesti P11, so we're lots of positions right now. We'll give it a few laps here. Check out these medium tires. And go from there.
Tire temps coming up.
Alright, lap 35 of 56, Vesti P7, Bottas P12. A few positions here and there. We're in the positive for fuel.
Okay, mate, good job. No more lift and coast required.
The tire strategy is doing okay. Valtteri is pushing a little bit more on the hard, so we'll bump him up to standard. Vesti's right
We'll
there,
work on tires.
right under the line, so we bumped him up to... we pulled him down 1. Oh. Anybody else? Leclerc going for a 2-stop. Alonso 2-stop.
Keep us updated on
Albon
tires.
Gasly 2-stop. Alright, let's see how many people actually do a 2-stop this race. And go from there. Norris is about to go in here in a little bit. We'll have to wait and see. I'm still worried about these medium tires though for Vesti. Alright, let's give it another 5 or so laps and see what our guys are doing. Alright, lap 41 and 56. As long as Vesti doesn't do anything out of the ordinary, he should be able to make it on those medium tires. And Valtteri is a little bit over the line, so he'll be good. We can run him a little bit more. Plus we'll run their fuel. 15 laps to go. Our guys are back in the points. You just don't want to push them too hard.
Energy to push.
Major issues for Verstappen,
You can use overtake.
Alonso, and Piastri, as well as Giovinazzi and Hamilton. Alright, we'll see you guys here in a few laps and see what we can do here. Alright, lap 51 to 56. We ran the fuel a little bit too hard.
Lift and coast from last lap.
Yeah, copy that.
I may have made a mistake there. Trying to watch this second strategy for Vesti. We bumped up Bottas earlier.
Struggling a bit.
We're still in the points, P7, P9, P9. That's basically where we started. Just a matter of fuel at this point, which we'll have to wait and see what we can do. So hopefully we can just barely make it.
Understood, guys.
Run conserve. Like that. Alright, we'll see you guys here for the end of the race. Okay. I honestly feel like we fucked it up. Where's Leclerc? We may not make it. Less than 0.3 kilogram difference. Doesn't look like our guys are gonna get overtaken anytime soon. So it's just a matter of making that fuel amount. One more lap to go here. Now it's just saving her fuel to the end. We might barely make it.
That's Leclerc.
Leclerc wins the race here
Leclerc
in
is
China.
today's winner.
Norris, and then Hulkenberg. Vesti broke out even. Next to cross the line for P7.
And that is the checkered flag.
And then Valtteri Bottas just over a second behind Stroll. Coming across the line for more points. There he is. He ran out of fuel.
Okay, we take the flag.
And then so did Valtteri, rolling
Okay,
to a
P9.
stop right after the line.
Thanks, guys. Good points.
We just barely made it to the end.
There was a lot of fast cars
On
around us.
fuel was our
So
mistake.
good job there.
Nothing like a little bit of
And, make
mistakes
sure we
there.
Switch off the car.
And Valtteri Bottas didn't disappoint. The Finn demonstrating his incredible talent.
I tell you what, they had to work hard for those points today. What a phenomenal achievement that is.
But just look at this. The overwhelming excitement for those celebrating this achievement. And the Monegasque driver certainly proved his worth with a terrific drive today.
Taking their 8th win of the season, there's just no stopping them.
And that's the podium complete for the Chinese Grand Prix. Well, Karun, how do you think they'll be feeling in the team garage at the end of that?
It was a strangely mixed weekend for them. We saw one driver put in a strong performance, but it was a different story for the other. Definitely positives there though. Next time, the teams will be racing through the streets of another city. Join us in Baku on the shores of the Caspian Sea for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix.
All right, we took the gamble and it paid off, even though we had that little mishap with the fuel. Vesti P7, loss of 1 position for both of our drivers. Valtteri P9, 2 points, 6 points, 8 points total for us for the weekend. That doesn't move Valtteri up. He just ties Giovinazzi for 4 points. And that keeps us at 87 to 45 for Audi Sport. Golf Williams surpassing Toyota GR Haas. And then fastest pit stops, we got P5 for that one. We're still sitting there in P3, 269 behind 308 for Red Bull. We were ahead there earlier in the season, but that's pretty much it. The one stop strategy there. Contract bonus, that I realized that this money was us paying out their contract bonus out of the race weekend. So that's what we pay them as drivers. Yeah, they hit their race target and then we pay them back, and that's our amount that we have left over. All right, upgrades complete for that Vesti ranking up. Nothing of spoiler here. We'll go car components, replace, 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 replace. And our car is not looking great for the next race. All right. So without further ado, without showing any spoilers for next season, we're gonna go ahead and simulate Azerbaijan, and we'll see you guys for the end of the race result. I believe it is a sprint weekend too. I believe I said that. Yeah, sprint. So we'll see you guys for the sprint results and then the feature race results, and then we'll wrap up the video. All right, here we are for the sprint results in Azerbaijan. Frederick Vesti just outside of the points, behind Zhou Guanyu. 6/10, about half a second behind Zhou. Down that back straight. Valtteri Bottas P13. Not so great here for us.
Hello and welcome.
Want to take a look at the stats here. Results. Can I look at standings here? No? We'll look at that at the end. Alright, we'll see you guys in a moment. Alright, here we have the results. Lando Norris takes the win, up 11 positions. Max Verstappen retired towards the... Oh, he must have run out of fuel at the end of the race. Vesti P10 lost to 3 positions. Valtteri out of the session. Probably an engine failure. I'll have to look at it. This is the stat that I always wanted to look at. Valtteri still P18. Vesti still ahead of Albon in P9. 88 to 54 for Audi. Not too bad. P9, 2 points for pit stop. Still sitting in P3. Aston Martin catching up to us on pit stops. 2.161 was that. One of our drivers hit their bonus. Bottas retired early. We are scouting for affiliates, so you guys will be able to see that. I don't know who I want to do yet, but we have some more component issues. Yeah, he really fucked up that car. Rear wing, suspension. We have to buy some extra car parts. Powertrain 42. How many more races we got? 6 races, right? Yeah. We'll put that last engine on. For both of our drivers. Alright, and gearbox will go next. You know what? We'll do that now. That's 66%, so he's still good for a little bit. DRS 70% will last us to the rest of the race. Not looking good for us for the rest of the season. We can try and hold on to 5th. but we're gonna focus on research. So without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and head into research, take a look at when our next ATR period is, and we'll see you guys in the next one.